The holidays are supposed to be a time of happiness, fellowship, and harmony, yet often can quickly turn into feelings of depression and loneliness. Here today to discuss the symptoms of holiday blues and what you can do is Dr. Josephs, a psychologist and clinical director of Lakeview Center. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Josephs.
My pleasure, Brandy. Thank you for the opportunity to come and talk with you.
Yes, we are excited to have you. To get started, share a little bit about yourself and your experience.
Well, some might find my southern accent a little different because I grew up in Jamaica, was educated in Lincoln, Nebraska, so I know cold weather. And then I'm a clinical psychologist and the clinical director at Lakeview Center. Have been there for 20-something years.
Well, this time of year, as you know, it starts to get a little colder, not necessarily down here in the Panhandle, but there are a lot of seniors that undergo what is called holiday blues. Can you tell us what are the holiday blues?
Seniors, actually, many of us experience what people might think of as holiday blues, and it's not really all bad. Holiday blues, the general thing is the anxiety, the anticipation of hectic holiday seasons, maybe being away from friends and family. So holiday blues can be anything from very mild anxiety and concern about, am I going to be able to afford stuff? Is my family going to make the flight? To what people think of maybe as a big problem, which is depression during the holidays, which is really clinical depression during the holidays, which is more on the extreme end.
I know this time of year is so busy with the hustle and bustle and shopping and making sure that you have the food for when people come over, and you can feel extremely overwhelmed. What are some suggestions that you have for living a balanced life?
Well, I think in business these days, Fortune 500 companies are applying mindfulness, which is the idea of being present, the idea of appreciating the things we have. It's not actually a new concept. I kind of call it the Peter Pan principle, right? Peter Pan learned to fly by his happy thought. His happy thought was his mom. We all have happy thoughts and happy places. And this is kind of rooted in good research. If we can get to that happy thought, whether it's a child, a family member, or a place, we actually get more centered. We actually get more balanced.
That's a great tip that you have. Another thing that we deal with specifically at Council on Aging is our clients, they tend to be lonely around the holidays because a lot of them, they don't have family members here. So we try to call and make sure that they're taken care of during that time of year, but they oftentimes tell us they feel lonely. Are there things that seniors can do or anybody in general can do?
Yes, absolutely. And again, some of this is understandable and actually normal. So some of it for, I think, our seniors is to not freak them out and say, we all go through this. A very easy thing to do is help seniors and reminisce about the positive times. So get photos. Help them go through and remember even their own childhood. And most of us, when we look at pictures of ourselves when we were children, we were mostly carefree. Right. That kind of brings up nice, happy thoughts. That we can do. Seniors can do that by themselves. We can do that by ourselves. Again, it's getting back to that happy place.
I know my grandmother, she still brings out the photo albums every single Christmas, but it makes her a complete day, so we do it for her.
It's a wonderful thing.
And it's a good point you made that this is normal.
Correct.
So is there a point where you should maybe consult your doctor if you're a caregiver?
Yes, absolutely. And most family members kind of know their family well enough when they've tipped over. They're crying a little bit too long. They're not sleeping well. They're not eating well. Being very negative, which is uncharacteristic for them. And the diagnosis of clinical depression is really when these things happen for 2 weeks or more. So when folks start seeing that, certainly alert your general practitioner. Many people are connected to their church. Might be the solution is through their minister, through their church, or their natural supports.
Aside from the rush of the holidays, I feel like we all are rushing around. There's also, you can experience mood changes. Is there a reason for this behind it?
Well, the biggest reason is rooted in kind of why we get upset, generally speaking, is lack of control. We like to be able to control the stuff we do. when you have lots of family around you, when you go shopping with 20,000 people, it's kind of tough to have control. So the thought is, again, what can we do to gain some sense of control? And there's the who, what, and where. Who are you with? That might help you gain control. What are you doing? That might also help you do the things that help control. And where do you go? You might not want to go to the store in the middle of holiday rush.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
Okay. So with that is I would encourage people to just plan stuff. People do real good when we plan. Plan for the stress, which might be a funny thing to say to folks, but
Yeah.
but you actually can plan for it. You can plan, well, I know I don't want to be with this person for a prolonged period of time, so have it scripted so you do your stuff and then
Exactly.
you go.
Like, oh, sorry, there's somewhere else that I need to be.
Say it nicely and then
Exactly. As a family member who may be caregiving for an elderly person or even, a child or an adolescent, what are the common signs of depression and how can we look out for those?
in children, the most common sign of depression, and we need to take real note of this, is real anger and agitation. And some folks might think, oh, they're just unhappy they didn't get the right present. But if it persists, the anger, the agitation, the frustration for children, that may be a sign of depression because little kids don't say, I'm depressed.
Right.
For adults, particularly seniors, it's the lethargy. It's not doing things. It's somebody who is usually active, just staying in the room, not moving, not getting up, not socializing the way they used to do, voicing feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. Those are signs.
And once you see these signs and you are concerned, and you may have consulted your doctor at this point, what are resources that Baptist offers to help with this?
The most important resource, of course, is helping the family and helping the individual put in context. So diagnosing, is it really a big problem? And maybe it's just a little counseling. Right. Maybe it's a few tips. There's some wonderful books. Maybe just helping people get connected. And at some levels, there may be treatment with medications. And if it's more extreme, then other interventions. But the thing that folks need to remember is 90%, actually probably closer to 99% of people who experience depressive feelings recover from them. There are very good ways to recover.
Right.
And so it's getting that knowledge base. I believe in people's capacity to heal themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think if we just give people the opportunity to get a hold of those things, they'll actually feel better.
Absolutely. But it's definitely something you shouldn't take lightly.
Absolutely not.
What if there's a way that someone can get a hold of you or find out more information, how can you do that?
Call Lakeview Center's registration line, which is 469-3500. And at that level, we can direct you to any level, any number of sources, internal to the Lakeview and Baptist system, or it might be external. It might be to a minister. It might be to a church that's closer to what you need.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for being here, Dr. Josephs. Your tips have been extremely helpful, and I know I'll be sharing them personally with a bunch of loved ones.
Well, thank you very much, Brandy.
Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure being here.